Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Good morning, viewers. This is National Orientation Agency, Rivers State. You are welcome to another edition of NOA Rivers State Dialogue. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, coming from National Orientation Agency office here in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. On this platform every Friday, 11 a.m., as part of our mandate, statutory mandate, we bring to you discussions to enlighten you, to educate you, and to sensitize you on topical national issues. We also entertain feedback in form of questions, comments, and suggestions. My name is UNYEADA, your host for today. Last week, Friday, on this program, we brought to you discussion on a different topic. We brought to you discussion on national gas policy and domestic gas pricing in Nigeria. It was very interesting, and if you missed that discussion, please go back to our Facebook page or YouTube, search for us. When you see National Orientation Agency, like us on Facebook or on our YouTube, subscribe, and you'll be live. You'll watch most of these programs that we have. Today, we are going to discuss or focus our discussion on a new topic. And today's topic is building a people of peace, the role of NGOs and community leaders. And in the studio here with me, I have two gentlemen. On my right, I have Mr. Cosmos DINEE. He is a peace advocate, a member of Conflict Management Alliance, and former coordinator, Search for Common Grounds. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, viewers.
And on my left, I have another gentleman, Mr. REUBEN OKWA. Mr. REUBEN OKWA is a seasoned journalist and a community activist. He is presently the secretary of UNYEADA Peace Reconciliation Committee that brought peace to Angola. Mr. OKWA, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Good morning, viewers. Good to be here.
You all know that for the past few years in Nigeria, the issue of conflict and security has been a major challenge to peaceful coexistence among citizens and national integration and cohesion. Peace has eluded so many communities in our country as a result of activities of Boko Haram, farmer herders clashes, bandits, kidnappers, cultists, and agitators for self-determination, and many others. Many people in the process have been killed, homes destroyed, and some people were made refugees even in their own country. The nation's revenue has also dwindled because of these activities, and government was becoming very difficult for government to meet the needs of providing infrastructural development for the people. Against this backdrop, in 2018, the National Orientation Agency commenced an enlightenment program on building a people of peace. This program was nationwide It was taken to all the states and local governments in the country, and is still on. And that is actually part of the thing we are doing now. Just yesterday in Rivers State, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, in collaboration with National Orientation Agency and other stakeholders, had a zonal summit in the states. In that summit, they have as a team national integration, peace, and security. All these are attempts to bring peace to the country. And today, we have these two gentlemen here to discuss about peace building, how we can bring back peace to this country. Because from the background I've given, it means that the peace has eluded this country and it's affecting governance, it's affecting the economy, it's affecting everything. Mr. OKWA, what would you say is peace? And what do you think are the impediments of peaceful coexistence?
Okay, first of all, let me thank you for this wonderful opportunity. And also thank you for bringing for this initiative. You know, I wish it has been around all this while that we've been yearning for peaceful coexistence in our various communities. Yeah, back to your question as to what is peace. I was flipping through your program for this program, and I saw that you mentioned that peace is not the absence of war. Yes, peace is not the absence of war. There are cases that you may not have war, but there will not be peace. We had such in my place, which is around the program, we shall then deeply into that. There are some form of conflict and some form of issues that will bring about disharmony. And in such a case, although there is no war, but there is no peace in such a place. So, peace, though you say it's elusive, yes, it is. But I want to see that when there is no war, we shouldn't say there is peace in a place. You know, it's not. So peace has transcended towards people. More than that, it has gone to where we begin to look at little issues that we need to settle beforehand, before they escalate into conflict. So that's, to me, is peace. And some of those things that could bring about disharmony and the absence of peace in a particular community, in a particular terrain, could be all these little issues like, and if you want to go deep into the definition of peace, you will see that those issues that two parties involved, the disagreement to the other party is very important, the bone of contention. And so if you don't address that, that will lead to conflict. So these are some of the things that I think that people should begin to look at. Even where there are no wars, no communal clashes, but there are also little issues that they should look at to ensure that we have good communal relations. Before now, we do know Africans to have this communal relation. You know, when I was growing up, my grandma would cook, others would come, they would eat. They wouldn't even stop you from going to other places. But now, it's not like that. So that's not peaceful coexistence in this item.
Okay, Cosmos, do you have anything to add? What's your understanding of peace?
Thank you. I think my colleague has done a very good job in the foundation for this discussion. And let me join you because I appreciate the NOA for this flagship program. Because very important is that they need to deepen sensitization activities to the grassroots to ensure that people have the proper knowledge to deal with these things is very, very paramount. Like he said, peace does not mean there's no war. But even when there is war, is it possible to have peace? That's the question. Peace is very, very critical in the life of everybody. Everybody needs peace. Without peace, even within yourself, if you don't have peace, you cannot you cannot be happy. So it is a primary source of happiness for an individual, and it is a foundation for rest and for development in every community.
So let me continue there.
Yes.
There is this overflowed phrase that peace is priceless, and without peace there can be no development.
Absolutely.
As a peace advocate and conflict management practitioner, what is your thought about this issue?
I agree with that 100%. Peace being priceless in the sense that you cannot pay for peace. There is no much money that you have that can buy you peace. You can't pay for it. If you think that it is easy to get peace, try violence. The effect of violence is so devastating that generations after you will inherit it. But if you leave a peaceful legacy, generations after you will live to prosper. And there's no development in any community, in any state, in any nation without peace. For instance, we have seen the level of revenue flights from the Niger Delta occasioned by the exit of several multinational companies that operate within our communities, while under the guise that the place was not peaceful. When militancy arose in the turn of the millennium in the region between 2000 and 2005, we began to see cases of militancy and all of that. We saw that companies began to relocate. You agree with me that when these companies are here, there is a multiplier effect arising from the value chain, benefits of their existence. Number one, we are able to, work with them. We are able to raise some revenue to build some houses. Their workers will live in our houses, and we earn rent from them. And every time, their workers are around, they come into the street, they buy things from our traders. So the effect of their presence is unquantifiable. But because of the militancy and all of that, they all left. And whether the place is still unsafe for them to return by now is another question that we need to ask. If it was not safe for them to be here, then why are they not back now? Because I feel that we have relative peace now, compared to where we were somewhere around 2005 and 2007 and all of that. So there's an improvement. But very importantly, it is necessary for us to know that we all need to be peaceful. We all need to, make our environment, to be at realistic rest. And let me say this here: when you're looking at peace in terms of its meaning, it's important to see it in two forms. One in its relativity, and two in its absoluteness. Absoluteness in the sense that you are talking of absolute peace, and the question is, can we have absolute peace?
Yeah, that's what I want to ask.
That becomes, to some, a mirage. And even the United Nations is still working hard, and they need to work very hard to say absolute peace. And that's why we say peace is not the absence of war. So there could be war, there could be conflict. But to the extent to which you are able to manage the conflict, to prevent them from escalating and become violent, that is where we say we have peace. So in its relativity, yes, very easy. And every time we look at the peace of today compared to the peace of yesterday, we are able to say we are more peaceful now than we were yesterday. And then we have plan in place to see that where we are today is not good enough. There's a place called forward. We are moving forward. So where are we going to go? We say, fine, we want to be more peaceful tomorrow than we have today. So that is peace in this relativity.
Are you telling me that there is more peace in Nigeria today than yesterday?
So if I have to
compare,
I gave a general overarching statement. Now, if you want to compare the peaceful state of Nigeria to yesterday and today, you want to look at where were we yesterday. So I will leave it for you to decide. Examine the situation in the country. Would you say that between yesterday and today, we are more peaceful today, or than we were yesterday, or that we were more peaceful yesterday than we are today? So that will provide the answer for everyone.
Okay, now you again. There's a peace. The whole peace process is said to have 3 stages. Peace process. When you are talking about building peace,
okay,
there are 3 stages.
Okay.
1, peacemaking, peacekeeping, and peace building.
Okay.
In practical terms, is it possible for you to share with us the intricacies of each of these stages?
Okay, so well, stages in a way, but in some senses it might not also be stages, because we don't need peacekeeping to have peace building. Peacekeeping.
But sometimes it happens.
Yes, that's why I said we don't need it, but it happens sometimes. Okay, and what makes peacekeeping necessary is that the violence and the conflict in the place escalated and went out of control. So everywhere was lawless. People, took to arms and they are vandalizing, destroying, and killing people. So at that point, you need peacekeeping. Peacekeeping involves use of force, arms, and caution to ensure that the rampaging population, the destructive population are calmed down. So when you talk of peacekeeping, you talk of joint task force, security agencies, heavily armed. They need to shoot. They need to kill if they can kill. They need to maim if they can maim. Why? So that they put fear in the mind of the next person from unleashing harm onto somebody. So that happens in the case of war, in the case of communal conflict, in the case of uncontrolled violence. Now, when that has gone, we need peace building. And peace building, we take probably conflict resolution and peace education, okay, in together. In peace building, you reorientate the people and train them and give them capacity to be able to identify issues of conflict by themselves and determine what they need to do to sustain the peace they have. Because peacekeepers will come and go, but they cannot keep the peace. They bring a ceasefire. Everybody downstreams. They want to dialogue. They want to talk. At the point of dialogue and talking, that's where peace building comes in. Okay. Now, peacemaking is a one-off individual thing. Everybody is a peacemaker or claims to be one. If I see both of you having an issue, I say, don't tell me we are all good people, we are all Rivers people. Why do we need to have this misunderstanding? Please, let's settle. I have made peace. I may not be a peacemaker. I may not be a peacemaker.
So, is there any kind of relationship among these stages?
Oh yes, they are interrelated in their way, because at some point one might need to come before the other. For instance, if there is war in Port Harcourt today, you don't need a peace builder. You need a peacekeeper, because there must be calm. I can't come in here and say I want to gather people, because peace building involves gathering people. I need to gather people. I need to talk to people. I need to create a platform for people to discuss. Why? I need to find out what is the reason for their conflicts and why have they gone violent and what needs to be done. In this, we say you are analyzing, you are doing conflict assessment and analysis. When I am able to assess, I can analyze, and then we can discuss it to a proper solution. So one will always need to go before the other.
Okay. Mr. OKWA, yes, let me come to you. You have been involved in peace management and resolution in your local government, your community in particular. I was made to understand you are the Secretary UNYEADA Peace and Reconciliation Committee, and we know that in actually for about over 2 years there has been these court clashes. Houses were burned, many people were killed, both the cultists and the innocent people, and communities were deserted. Can you briefly acquaint us with the strategy you applied in bringing peace? Because I was told that peace has returned to those communities now.
Yes.
What were your strategies?
Yes, like my colleague rightly said, there is relative peace in the land of the local government. Let us take our minds back to 20 years ago. We started 20 years ago.
20 years?
Yes, 20 years ago. In the local government. Those of us who are watching from Rivers State to understand what I mean. Andoni has been in the news for the wrong reasons for so long. Houses were burned, like you said, and useful individuals were killed. We don't want to go into much details, but we came to a peak that was late March and early April this year. The place was uninhabitable. About 14 communities were deserted. It was in the news, and people don't go to school in certain communities and other local governments. All the government establishments were shut down. socio-economic activities were not going on. Like my colleague also said, so many persons call for peacekeeping in those particular areas. But the authorities in Nando and local government and some concerned individuals have deemed it necessary to bring in peacemakers, and I was part of those that were choosing to be peacemakers in Nando and local government. And today we are happy that peace has returned. It was a tasking one. Remember, we are dealing with armed cultists. We have dangerous individuals that, if you're not careful, I remember in 2017, a committee like that was also set up, and then it crashed because of some issues that were able to trash during this time. So we are dealing with dangerous individuals. We got to handle them very well. It was a delicate situation. If you're not careful, you came in. I mean, those of us who are peacemakers.
So what was your own strategy? Because you said some time ago such a committee was set up and it didn't work. It means you have a special strategy you applied.
Yes.
So tell us so that other communities can learn.
Like Osmos will tell us, for peace to reign, the parties involved must agree to settle the disputes.
Okay.
We talk to them for them to see the reason for them to lay down their hands and live peacefully with others. It took us more than 4 months to convince them to do that, to accept peace, and then come to the negotiation table. It took us 4 months to travel to the creeks, to meet them in difficult terrain, and sometimes they will threaten you that if you're not careful, you'll be the next victim. But we must have courage. Most of us, we didn't have any training in peacemaking, but because of our exposure and little things we read about peacemaking, we were able to succeed. In fact, I could remember there was a day that we had one of our meetings and we were about to leave. Some person said, "We are not going." They became afraid, but because of the situation on ground, those of us that have children, those of us that have family, begin to think how adult is going to be like in the next 10 years if nothing is done at the moment. So we must have courage. We're able to convince them. Persuasion, though we didn't have much to put on the table as to this is what we are going to give, but much of persuasion, and then to convince them that you have family. You shouldn't be doing this. Look at your children. They're almost at your age and you are still doing this thing. Some of them became ashamed, and then when we camped them for 3 days, for the first time in over 10 years, some of them could see each other face to face, talk to them. Some of them even shed tears that night. For them, they were just telling us, we are fighting for nothing. Truly, look at what we missed all these years. They embraced themselves. I have the videos, it's there. They embraced themselves, they ate together, they talked together. And so it was remarkable for us to achieve peace in our local government. And like us was there is relative peace in our local government. People can travel home, schools are in session, churches are open, business activities are going on. And this Christmas, I believe it's going to be one of its kind.
Okay. Was there any challenges? I mean, you mentioned some of the challenges, like traveling to the Greeks and your life being in danger and all that. There are other special challenges.
There are specific challenges. These boys we are talking about, they give hand to so many persons. And before we embark on that particular journey, we have to talk to those that offended. Please, this is what we're about to do. Forgive them. Let us move on. That was another angle of our peacemaking initiative. We got to talk to persons that offended, persons, the loved ones they've killed. Please forgive these ones.
The houses
they are the houses that were burned, the houses that were razed down, properties that were destroyed. We meet those individuals. Please, you got to forgive them. Let us move on. So that's one of the challenges, but some refused. But we were able to convince them at the long run that we don't have any other place to go. We have to make peace in our community and live together.
Okay, Cosmos, we are going to also react because you are a peace advocate. But before then, let's take a break and bring our correspondent from Masikile Road here in Port Harcourt. Hello?
Thank you, Sir Ellis Dapa, the senior. My name is Olu Samson, and I'm coming from the Office of the National Orientation Agency, Rivers State. I am the Community Orientation and Mobilization Officer for Port Harcourt City Local Government. I am reporting live from Azikiwe Street, my one due, Port Harcourt. And my report is on how to build a people of peace and the role of the NGOs and community leaders in Nigeria society. With me here today, this morning, I have the Director, Anti-Graft Initiative. Thank you, Director, Anti-Graft Initiative. You are welcome to NOA Dialogue. Now over to you, Sir Ellis Senior, the presenter of NOA Dialogue, Rivers State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samson Olu. You've heard it. I think we have discussed that in this studio, that where there is no peace, there will be no development. Because there is peace in that, as is subdued. That is why we are seeing that massive road construction that is going on. Yes, before we went on that break, I said you are going to react the kind of strategy you use.
Okay.
To bring about peace in River State communities and Nigeria.
Exactly.
Because I know that you work with Search for
Common Ground. Yes. Thanks a lot for all of those great efforts. Maybe I should start from there. At about the turn of the end of the program, which the NOA was a critical part of. We've got some calls from our brothers in the Andoni community. One of the youth leaders in Andoni, as in Andoni National Youth Leaders, not the community, I think this from the past forward, and had wanted to get integration of Andoni into the project, and we were actually strategizing to move the project further to that level under the state's peace architecture dialogue platform that was in existence at the time, because we realized that there has been incessant cases of conflicts, within the Andoni communities, within the Ogoni communities, and many other places where the project worked. So our strategy was basically three level platforms. We work with community, we work with the media, and we use dialogue. Dialogue platform is very critical in the approaches that we deployed in that. What does a dialogue platform do? It provides avenue for the stakeholders, having been identified, and the role they play in the conflict, to come together and identify the causes of the problem. First, what the problems are, and what they thought the causes of the problems were, and then that helps us to be able to profile solution and also integrate them in the solution profiling processes, because we have seen that the deployment of community-led approach to peace building is sustainable, and until you come that way, you will just be doing academic exercise, because I cannot just come into any community and tell them this is what you should do to make peace. No, they have their own approach. So we also have to try to identify what their approaches are, and then integrate them, fine-tune them, and let it work. Those were what we did. So we had 7 LGAs we worked with, apart from the fact that we existed in the entire state, where we were focused in 7 key LGAs and 7 key communities in those LGAs, setting up Community Peace Architecture Dialogue Platform, CSAD, and then the State Peace Architecture Dialogue Platform, which was a state level platform. All of these platforms were multidisciplinary and multi-stakeholder in nature. So they have community leadership, they have the youth, they have the women, they have the persons with disability, and they have security agencies, they have government agencies, and all of that. So these were all, and they have CSOs and CBOs, community-based organizations. The CBOs and CSOs have critical role of reaching directly to the grassroots persons, because orientation is very key to sustainable peace. Continuous orientation, letting the people know that they have a role to play in their peace process, and that there's a whole lot of benefit they will gain if they are peaceful among themselves and with their neighbors is very critical. And this is don't just come and go, they are continuous. You keep telling them that. So this is where the NGOs and the CBOs come in. Also faith-based organization, because the churches, because we are very religious in this part of the country, in this part of the world, you see that the pastors have ample power to convince their congregation. So the pastors also were part of this, and they take the message to church as church sessions, try to let the members know that look, you are not Christian enough if you cannot follow after peace, because the scripture says follow after peace with all men and holiness, without which no man can see God. Yeah. So this helps to strengthen the awareness level of the natives, of the community dwellers, of the citizens, on the need to be peaceful. And those processes help us to get the kind of deepened processes that we achieved. And I will use one of the communities. Sogo in Ghana, LGA, was one of the communities, and of course I will say that they were one of the topmost communities performing in the entire 3 states of Niger Delta. But shortly after we left, all of the whole processes broke down. There were claims of sabotage and all of that and whatever. Well, sad to say that.
Let's say, why did you leave when you know that there is you can't sustain the peace there?
Well, the peace was sustained.
Why?
Like I said, feedback from the community said there were sabotage by certain, community gatekeepers who felt that no, this thing cannot just be. Certain individuals want to sabotage the good process. That is just very common. So we have done a lot to sustain the process. And then some 2-3 months after the end of the project, let me also say that we did not just leave, but our projects are funding driven. So when the funding expires and the term and the tenure of the project expires, there's nothing you can do but to quit. And in any case, at the time we had expected elongated funding, which everything was coming hopeful, and then it never came. So when they said quit, we had to quit. And then like 3 months after, there was a breakdown in the process of peace in the community, and yours truly, the people spent their hard-earned money to buy the peace that they got for free. Yet they could not get it. And that's why we say peace is priceless. You cannot quantify the cost of peace. You can't pay for it. It doesn't matter how rich you are. They had to deploy the military from the cantonment to the community. And from information, maybe about 1 month or 2 months there.
And then it became peacekeeping. Peacekeeping.
Exactly, peacekeeping. To calm the place, because the level of violence within this short time, within a period of about 10 days, was so much that everybody fled the community. No elite could come near the community. So they deployed the military men to that place. In about 6 weeks, the expenses to maintain the peacekeeping force was terrible. And then they left. So they had to take the bull by the horn to know, what this organization came to do was useful. What these people did was good. So they had to go out of their way to now begin to, from what they learned before, invited some of the persons that were key actors in the processes, and they began to now go about the peace. As we speak now, in fact, the peace has been 80 to 90% restored.
Yes.
And there's high level of activities in that community now. Why? Because they have been trained, they have been built in their capacity, so they can deploy it and use it for themselves.
Okay, let us take another break to also reach our correspondent, Samson Olu, as OKWA community, to get the feedback from the people.
Sir Ellis Dapa, the senior, for having me again once more this morning. My name is Olu Samson, and I am reporting live from OKWA Community Town Hall in Port Harcourt City Local Government, and my report is centered on building a people of peace, the role of NGOs and community leaders in Nigeria. With me here is Mr. or Elder Okechukwu Amadi. Okechukwu Amadi, you're welcome to a NOA dialogue. What have you got to say about building a people of peace and then the role of NGO and community leaders in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me in this program. In this community, we are a peace-loving community. To start with, I'm Elder Okechukwu Wilson Amade from Oloroko community. In this community, we like peace. We're a peace-loving community. We don't fight. We hate violence. Anything about violence in this community, we cancel it. We do peaceful something. So in as much as this program is alive now, in this community, we buy the program, we love the program, and we work with the program. This program will move ahead. I pray it will not be a program that will end at the road. We will forge ahead. In this program, in this community, we buy this program. In this community, we know that every other community that there is no peace, there is no government in that community. Things are not occurring well in that community. In as much as this Oloroko community in Port Harcourt City local government concerned, things will occur well because we love peace. So we are peace-loving community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Elder Okechukwu Amade. You are welcome to NOA Dialogue. We are happy to see you in NOA Dialogue. Okay, over to you, Sir Ellis Tapa the Senior, as the presenter of NOA Dialogue.
Thank you very much, Samson Olu. You have heard him. The people are also saying that peace is needed for development. And two of you have talked about the role of the community leaders. We've hampered on it so much. What would we say should be the role of leaders? And we know that government also has its own role to play. Government has a role. None of you have said it. Government has a role to play. What do you think should be the role of the community leaders and NGOs?
Okay, before the advent of modern form of government, in our communities, we have cases of certain disputes. I can remember when we were strategizing for this piece, ideas came up that we should adopt somewhat a diplomatic form of certain disputes in our various communities. Our chiefs, our traditional rulers, in such a situation, we do have a very cordial relationship in our community, so we adopted some of those things. Our chiefs were drafted in, some of them who feel can talk to these youths were drafted into the part of the peace initiative. They have experience, in dealing with cases like that. I do not to that extent where you have people with armed for destruction, but we are able to see to it that some of the community chiefs, community leaders were carried along, so that as they go back to their various communities, they live freely with each other. Somebody will not say, no, I ensure that you came back to the community. And the boys themselves would see that the peace was driven by community individuals and not strange persons. For the government has a lot of role to play. When he talks about the role of the NGOs, he has one. The government can heavily fund the NGOs, to carry out their responsibility, their mediation responsibilities. The government can actually play that particular role. And the humanitarian services as well, the NGOs need funds for humanitarian services. The government can also provide those things for them to meet of the task of the conflict resolution. So those are the rules I think that the government can play and the community leaders can also play.
So at this point, let us get the reaction of our viewers. I have so many of them here. Bridget Indemnu says the focus should be on application of alternative dispute resolution, ADR, and the use of dialogue in the resolution of crisis. Bekibo Williams says NOA Rivers moving Nigeria forward. Bridget again says community leaders as stakeholders at the top tier of government should collaborate with NGOs by ensuring that societal values and norms are practiced accordingly to usher in a peaceful atmosphere for all. Peter Ekebe, non-violence is central to stemming conflicts while effective advancing positive social and political changes. Hence, NGOs and community leaders are seen by none. Peter KB again says, what must we do in addressing violence is discouraging crime and promoting peace in our communities. Say, what must we do in discouraging violence, discouraging crime, and promoting peace in our society? What must we do?
Yeah, very important. The community has a whole lot of role to play to discourage violence, crime, and all whatnot, everything evil in that community. Let me start by saying that in the course of our work, part of our program designs research based. So in the course of our research, we realize what we call drivers of conflicts. And one of the drivers of conflict in the community is chieftaincy tussle, and it's very common with our people here, Rivers especially. I don't know how many communities in this state that does not have chieftaincy issue. You are the rightful chief, or you are not the rightful chief, this and that. And the moment the community is divided among the lines of who is the king and who is not the king and all that, then it also creates faction. And those factions are used to, to wage violence against the opponents and all of that. So, number one, the community realizing the relevance of peace and addressing it themselves will help to reduce the violence. All of these tools, violent tools, and violent tools of conflict in the community are known to the community. They know all the bad boys, all the kidnappers, and all of those who go to war. They know them. So, what have they done to bring them close? I say that the approach is not to, is not to reject them, is not to stigmatize them, but bring them close in love and let them know the needs, why they have to see themselves as part of, resources in the community for community development. So when you are able to reorientate them, it is possible that some of them can turn around. And if I had the opportunity of mentioning them, I will tell you how many top militants in this region that have turned around and become peace builders today.
Okay.
Why? Because they got the orientation.
Let us take another reaction from Senator Abie. Say, for the country to enjoy peace, first Nigerians should know that there are several ethnic background, culture, and diverse religious practices. Therefore, if we must enjoy peace, he said we must tolerate each other. I think that is true. If we need peace, if we must enjoy it, we must tolerate each other. Becky Bob Williams, building a people of peace. People, NGOs, CDCs, and all must be peace-minded to bring peace to all. Peace must begin with the individual before it can extend to others, and then development. Without peace, your friends become your enemy. Peace is priceless. Let's take responsibility and embrace peace and development. So, Abie again said, while growing up, I met a community where there is hardly cases of stealing, talk less of armed robbery. Now the question is that what was done in the past that is not done now? He's trying to say that in years past, when he was a young person, there was hardly cases of stealing and all that, but now it's very rampant. What was done wrong now?
I think previously, growing up in our own community as well, if you are identified as a thief or if you have any wrongdoing, the way the community will deal with you, he will never think of going back to such a crime. They will name and shame you, and then onlookers too will be deterred. So I think we should start to bring up some of these things. But now you have so much law against this, law against that, can be prosecuted for this, can be prosecuted for that. But I think communally we can also have a form of punishing those who are engaging in crime to as a deterrent to others, to prevent them from indulging in crimes like that as well.
Okay. From Uche Odongwero, say peacemaking. Peacemaking begins with the people involved. Peacekeeping requires strictly following the terms of understanding, while peace building is about having a general understanding of what the problems are and agree to make them and keep them. You try to talk about that. He's trying to elaborate on what peacemaking, peace building, and peacekeeping is all about.
Yeah, but they did not mention that peacekeeping involves the use of force. There's no peacekeeping without force.
Okay. So, Abdus Glad, the role of youths in courtesan and lack of respect for constituted authority and elders has affected greatly the role of NGOs and community leaders in peace building in crisis communities. Then we have another one from Onebu Ojuma. All Nigerians should be encouraged to embrace peaceful dialogue as a means of settling differences rather than violence. On the other hand, there should be a trusted channel put in place at all levels for the aggrieved to register their grievances and be heard. So, as we continue, we'll take more comments. Now, let me come back to you, Cosmos. We talk about structures of promoting peace building. I mentioned some of them. How do you apply these structures? Some of these structures of peace building. Are they global or they are just local homegrown?
Like I said,
can you apply it globally? Or is it only to Nigeria Delta?
Anything global can be internalized. Okay, so they first come global and then they are reviewed around a particular community and internalized to fit them. When you come in and you are able to identify the peculiarity of the community, you're able to build a community-led approach to it. That's the internalization process. So that helps the community to now look at what we have global and tweak it to the amount that fits them. That is the only time you can see sustainability in place. If you bring one omnibus, idea from UK, you want to come and implement in my village here, it will work. But that's alien to us. We want to look at it, yes, that's fine, but how can it suit us? So the peculiarity of our community is here. And of course, what works in one community in River State cannot work in another in the same River State. Because there are, even if we have one of our acting culture in the state, there are diverse customs and traditions in every community, which makes them different from the other. So you need to understand how that works and allow the people to internalize it based on what is, germane and unique to them.
Okay. Mr. OKWA, time is running so fast. What recommendations will you make to consolidate peace building in communities and universities?
Okay. In other local governments where I serve as a member of this community, the committee in the UNYEADA Kingdom, we see peace like a child born. The child will have to crawl, the child will have to walk, and the child will have to talk. So currently, the child is crawling, walking, and talking. We got to frame up peace in under local government, and then that calls for peace sustenance, peace building, and then the most interesting part of the peace in under local government. Now we make the repentant courts members of the peace building committees. They should be part of it now and then. See how difficult it is, so that nobody will think of going back to it. So that's what we are doing, and then we're also appealing to those who offended. we're also appealing to them to, please forgive them. Let's live together. Let bygone be bygone. We shouldn't look at what happened previously. We should forge ahead, especially now that the youths are ready to build the communities. They should queue up and then see what they can do so that we'll have a community that is inhabitable, suitable for development, because the absence of peace, there could not be development at all. Yes. We have a situation in London whereby for the past 10 years, nobody has built a single house in some of the communities. But people are going back now to see to it that they build their houses. So we shouldn't crumble the peace process. Rather, we should sustain it and see what we can do to support the peace process.
Okay. Let me take more reaction. Obaro Samson says the role of NGOs in community development cannot be overemphasized, but they should be subject to keen supervision by government. Charles Williams Obara says kudos to NOA River State, keep the flag flying. Abie Senibon, for there to be peace in all levels, policy of inclusion should be strictly adhered to, as the excluded group will always agitate. I think that is something we must. So we talk about peace, and we talk about, from my intro, I talk about agitation from some groups who wants to have independence because they felt they are excluded. So, do you think policy of inclusion, injustice, if it is addressed, will also solve the problem of peace?
Yes, very, very important. So I will say that, and I also make, before I go there, let me
just briefly, because our time is
2 minutes. Yes. Fine. So, Mr. Reuben, so maybe we need to look at further processes, whether of what we've done in UNYEADA, and we are aware of the relative peace that has returned to that place. We probably might need to take it further to trauma healing. Okay, because that is where you seal up the whole process. Both those who destroyed and those who were destroyed, they have a trauma that needs to be healed. And that will not take to proper reintegration. If you reintegrate the people without trauma healing, there's bound to be another resurgence of violence because people are still carrying the pot. Thank you. Now, based back on that, what was that again? What was that we were talking about?
I was talking about policy of exclusion.
Policy of exclusion.
And injustice.
Exclusion and injustice is a major driver of conflict. Okay? And every time that some people feel that they are alienated from the process, you are creating grievances.
Then at that point, what do you think the government and community heads should do?
Fine. Inclusivity is a process. Bring them in, integrate them in the process. So in the communities where we work, part of what we did was that in every process, let us see you represented in your community leadership forum. If you have a community platform, where is the youth represented, the person representing with that platform? What about the women? What about persons with disabilities? Because when you go meet with the oil company representative, without this person, there are people who will go out there tomorrow and say they have brought 1 billion naira to you, and they did not come with 10 naira. So, but if they have a youth representative and a woman representative there in the meeting, he is able to go up and say, I was there,
and give them information.
I was there, yes. And we only discussed that they want to come start a project. They don't come with any money.
Okay, let's take another break. I think the last one to also reach out to our reporter in Port Harcourt City Local Government. Now he is at the University, River State University. Something, are you there?
Thank you, Sir Ellis Japa, the senior. My name is Olu Samson, and I am reporting live from River State University this day. And my report is centered on building a people of peace, the role of NGOs and community leaders in Nigeria. And with me here is Alaja Adija people, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And then Alaja Adija people, what have you got to say about building a people of peace and the role of NGOs in Nigeria and community leaders? Thank you, you're welcome.
Community leaders. For instance, if investors come into your community, either to buy land or done away with so much demands, like the use of the community informed acts of matching ground. They are not taking that land, forcefully for it. They are paying for it. They will pay for it. Just from that community will work in that land and laborers. Eventually, when the factory or school comes up, the educated ones, the graduates, the ones that went to school will work there. And even the ones that do not have degrees to work there will become a non-academic staff if the investment there is in school. And they will work. You understand me? They will work there. Then, if the youth keep chasing that investors from that particular community, what becomes of that community? So if you go around Nigeria, every community that is very developed, the development comes from strangers, not from the indigenous. Allow visitors, allow strangers into your community for better development.
Thank you, Alhaja Adija, for coming into NOA dialogue this day. Alhaja Adija, we are also happy. I am also happy to see you, and then also thank you for honoring me this day. Now over to you, Sir Ellis Dapper, the senior, as the presenter of NOA dialogue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Samson Balu. At this point, our time is almost up. Cosmos, do you have any last word for your viewers?
My final word to the viewers is that we have to, make up our mind to contribute to peace. We all have a role to play. There is no way there can be peace if we do not contribute. See yourself as the major party to peace processes in your community, your environment. Don't look at anybody else. Consider that if you do not do it, who will? And until you have that mindset, we will not have the kind of peace we want to have. Stay peaceful.
Thank you, Mr. REUBEN.
I would also advise that we should take this as our responsibility, our individual responsibility, to ensure that we have peace in our various communities. Because no government, not even the local government, can cite any project in your community if there is no peace. So we should keep the peace in our various communities.
Viewers, I want to say that peace is our responsibility. We don't need to wait for government to bring peace to us. As individuals, as community leaders, as NGOs, as household heads, we have an opportunity to make peace. When we have peace in our homes, we have peace in our communities, we have peace in our local governments, we have peace in our states, the country will be peaceful and everybody will be happy about it. On this note, I want to thank my guests in the studio. Thank you very much, Mr. Cosmos. Thank you, Mr. OKWA. I'm sure that when we invite you again, you will also come and discuss some issues with us.
Sure.
I'm sure that our viewers have learned so much from their experiences in the field. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to also thank our executive producer who has made this program possible, our state director, Barrister Young Ayatomino. I want to also thank the technical crew led by Ali Briggs. They have been doing the wonderful work to bring this program live to you. Let me also thank our viewers, those people who sent in comments, questions. As usual, there are so many, I was not able to take all. Thank you. Continue to tune on this program. Next Friday, we are coming with a different topic that is going to be equally interesting. Do have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much. From me, it is UNYEADA. Goodbye.
COVID-19 transmission is mostly through droplets from sneezing and saliva. The most effective way to protect yourself from the virus is to practice good personal hygiene. Wash hands with soap under running water or use an alcohol-based sanitizer if water is not available. Maintain at least 2 meters distance between yourself and anyone who is coughing or sneezing. Cover your mouth and nose with your elbow or tissue when you cough or sneeze. Dispose of the used tissue immediately. If you have traveled recently to a country with COVID-19 outbreak in the last 14 days and you have a fever, cough, or breathing difficulty, call NCDC toll-free numbers before going to the hospital. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.